Welcome to BGP. Today we are discussing, is love really blind? The reason why we ask is because we have been watching the current season of Love is Blind on Netflix. And if you have not watched it, I encourage you to go back and take a look at this previous season. You will see that clearly it is not blind, it is not consistent with the theme of the show. So if
Mm.
anybody has not watched a season on that of Love is Blind, basically you have people that meet other people behind a pod or in within separate walls or separate rooms where you can converse without seeing each other. You continue to have conversations, you go on dates, but you never know what the person looks like. So you're falling in love with their personality. And then the moment that you decide that you guys want to commit, the guy has to propose. And once you propose and you accept, then is when you get to see each other. After you do that, you go on a trip for 2 weeks where you guys get to continue to get to know each other physically, mentally, conversations, whatever,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
And then you make the final decision as to will you get married or not. If you get married, the company pays for the marriage, the wedding, and everything. If you don't, the wedding is off. So today we're going to speak on the couple AD and Clay. Okay. AD is a beautiful black woman. Um, she whew, she stated in one of her pods that she's attracted to men who typically are red flags. She sees
Mm.
red flags and she says she just paints her nails. She paints her nails red. Her
Mm.
words. Okay. She was in love with two gentlemen, Clay and this other gentleman. I cannot think of his name at the moment, but come to find out that that other gentleman, everything he was telling her, he was telling another young lady. And so
Mm.
once she found out, she kind of fell out of like with him and kind of was more into Clay. Clay made it very clear that he wanted, if he was not physically attracted to you, he was not going to marry you. He made that
Mm.
very clear.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, she was just like, well, we're supposed to be here for personality. We're supposed to be here to get to know each other. Love is supposed to be blind. She knew that, but she still carried on with proceeding to get to know Clay. Fast forward, Clay likes her. He finds out it was a competition with another guy who likes her,
Mhm.
so it made him want her more. He proposed. They see each other, and his response was, "Wow.
Mm.
Well, we'll have some beautiful dark skinned babies." He did tell her
Oh,
that.
wow.
And he never called her beautiful. And granted, AD has a banging body. Her
Mhm.
body is,
Mhm.
she has a
Yes.
beautiful body. But you can tell that she was not his type.
Wow.
So I'm gonna start with that before I get into that. What do you think so far about?
Well, it goes to show you love love is not really blind because okay, the minute he saw her and he probably was falling in love with her, but there has to be a physical attraction, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? And it's unfortunate because now these feelings have developed. You have gone out with this person, you think you know them, and then it seems like with us, with women, we're more lenient in looks, you
Yes.
know. Guys are you gotta have this body, you gotta be, yeah, hourglass figure together. So something because I thought now I have to confess I didn't watch all the episodes, but I did see a few. Um, I thought she was a very pretty girl.
Hmm.
So my thing is, what didn't he like about her? I'm wondering what his preference really is, because everybody has, pretty much what they like.
Right.
And it seems like they were, hitting it off.
Hmm.
But the minute he saw her, ooh,
He
yeah,
was like,
that's
wow.
messed
He was
up.
like, you got a body. Like we sexually, oh, he was definitely attracted to her.
Wow.
Definitely. Physically, didn't pick that up at all. And then he kept telling her, like, I don't want to cheat. I don't know if I'm ready for marriage. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat. So if a man is telling you, I don't want to cheat. How
Mm-hmm.
would you take that? Like, how do
See,
you react to that?
to me, he's letting you know that is like a huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's slapping you in your face,
Mm-hmm.
basically. If you are one that wants to be in a monogamous relationship and he is letting you know this straight out, then it probably is not a good idea to move forward with it. Y'all can remain friends. Y'all can remain, I mean, y'all can even hit it every once in a while. But to be in a committed relationship, he's
Yeah.
letting you know that's not in the cards for at least not with you.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. That some guys are just that shallow,
Mm-hmm.
but it is. And I don't even want to say that it's shallow. Some
Have a
dudes
type.
just have their preference
Yeah.
of what they like and what they would prefer to deal with. So
Yeah. Because
mhm.
I think I'm like, I'm not against anyone having their preference. I'm not. But I am of the thing of, if you tell me I don't want to cheat on you, I don't want to cheat, I don't want to cheat.
Over and over again.
I'm gonna take heed to what you're saying, and I'm gonna call it.
Yes.
If you don't want to call it, I'm gonna call it for you. I'm not gonna make you do something with you which you don't want to do.
Right.
I'm not gonna pretend like the signs is not written on the wall. It's like, it just seems to me like he was telling her over and over, and she was, her response was just like, but isn't he cute? Isn't he fine? He's so fine.
Bless her
You're not
heart.
gonna cheat. He's so fine. Like, and her mother was just like, girl, you should go get your man. Go, just encouraging her. Encourage her. I did not like that. I felt like she was encouraging her to settle because it was clearly obvious he was not ready for marriage.
Right.
And definitely not with her. But mommy was like, girl, get your man. Get your man. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's really sad.
That is
really
sad. Because when he started to confess and admit it, like he said it in front of the camera and everything, he's just like, I was with my dad when he would go cheat on my mom with other women, and he was like, I never told my mom, wow. I've sucked it up, but I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to cheat. And my dad's a great man, but I don't want to cheat. For me.
So let me make sure. So he never specifically said that there was anything particular that he did not like about her, but he just kept saying, I don't want to cheat. Which is enough,
Yep. I don't want to cheat.
My goodness.
I don't want to cheat.
My thing is, if you spend that much time on the show and you're there to be transparent, just keep it 100. Say what it is that you don't particularly care for her, what it is that you don't care about for her. And I know now that she's probably upset that she didn't choose guy A or B or the other one. Yeah. Because they may have hit it off.
It's possible. But it's possible. But he was he also was telling other ladies the same thing. But I don't know. So I'm gonna fast forward to that too. So that happened. Then they get to him saying, you know what, I think I'm gonna do it. I'm ready. And he's telling these other people, I'm gonna marry her. That's the love of my life. And then the wedding comes. Okay. She came out in this dress, accentuating the body and everything. Usually, at least from what I've seen when I've been in weddings or when I've attended weddings and whatnot, usually when the groom sees his bride, the wife, he's like, my wife is what? Beautiful. Yes. Like some cry.
Right.
Some are,
just overcome with emotion. Yeah.
All he said was, okay, body. Okay, body.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And then gave her, put your hand out. Gave her one of these when she got up there. I was like, what the
Oh my God.
Okay, buddy.
Wow.
I was like, no, that's your clue right there. No. So they asked her, like, is love is blind? Do you take this? Do you take him to be your husband? The usual. I do. Then they get to him. Is love is blind? Do you take her to be your wife? I don't. And she was like she was like, wow, what the fuck? Why did you do this to me? Why did it? And his mom ran up to her, hugged her and held her. And then her mom and her family, they walked off because she had her nieces there, and she was crying. And he was like, I love you. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to go through some therapy. I need help. I don't know. And she's like, what am I supposed to do? You just
humiliated her, embarrassed her. That's so sad. And see, the thing is with these shows, and there's several of them kind of similar to that. The one that Tommy,
Yes.
he does.
Yes.
And it almost makes you like just want to go back to the old traditional way of dating, because this is so, and then you wonder, like, do they get like some kind of kickback? Do
They
get
do.
they do get money?
They do.
What is
So
the
this is what I found out recently, because everybody was
Yeah,
invested in this
yeah,
season.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So they get paid $1,000 a week while
Oh,
they're there.
okay.
You get up to 8,000. It's an 8-week show.
Okay.
But if you don't go through with it, then of course it stops.
Yeah.
And if you don't go through the marriage, then it cuts off some more. So some people
Wow.
go all the way to the marriage, and then just so they can say I don't,
Yeah.
because they want the money. But the most that they can make is 8,000, and then
Okay,
plus
so
you get
that
to have a
mhm.
little bit of fame. you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but they
Wow.
do
That's
just
crazy.
8,000.
8,000. Well, yeah, he definitely stuck it out for the chain, for the
That,
the
yeah,
money, which is, golly, that's so messed up.
yeah.
So have they followed up with her?
So they had a reunion this week
Mm-hmm.
where all of them was invited back to talk about it, especially the popular ones, and because people be searching and nosy,
Yeah.
like, are they together? Are they not together? Or so people had to address, because there was other couples, but we just
Right.
focused on Clay and Ab. But there's other couples that was also like, their insecurities was just like,
Yeah.
but AD, she said something that hit me like, when she was like, why am I never chosen? Why am I never good enough? And I'm just like, is it you're never good enough, or is it that you're ignoring the flags?
That's
like,
it. That's
the
it.
flags was
They're
right
there.
there. They
They're
was
there.
right there.
Yeah. Do you feel like some of it is scripted?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do. I think some of it is real.
Yeah.
Right. But I think some of it is like, they probably was like, oh, record that again.
Exactly. Exactly.
Record that again.
That's the unfortunate part, because there's so much emotions involved, especially with women. We tend to carry that, hold it. And then now the rest, you talking about insecurities, she gonna feel like, what's wrong with me? Yeah, okay, he said I had a body, but am I ugly? All kind of those type of things will start, happening with her. She's gonna probably need some therapy too.
She definitely needs therapy. All of them do.
Wow.
So then, now I'm going to get to the parents.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Uh-oh.
Because after that, mommy and daddy had to have a conversation.
Of the dude.
Of the dude.
Okay.
Had to have a conversation. And they decided to film it. And mom was like, you owe your son an apology. She was like, the reason why he can't get married or feel that he wants to get married is because of what he saw with you. And she said, let's make this clear. He told me some things that I had no idea happened while we were married. And so he just looked at her. She was like, I had no idea you was taking him to be around other women while you were cheating on me. And he just looked at her, and then he said, well, my dad was never in my life. He was in and out of my life. And, I didn't have a... She was like, well, we were supposed to break the curse. And so then he's crying, the father, and she's just looking at him like,
oh, right.
And he was like, well, he needs a good woman like you. That's what he needs. She said, you had me and you cheated on me. You did me wrong. So that's not it. But you owe your son an apology, a sincere apology, because he needs to go get therapy, and so do you. And he was just like, I know we got to do this right, because he's crying too. And she's like giving him like, you full of shit.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Exactly.
But it was just like, it was eye-opening to me, because I'm just like, I would say his parents are in their 60s. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the fact that his father was like, well, my father was not there. My father was not in my life. Mm-hmm. And he still revels on the fact that in his younger years, I guess he was a track star, a famous track star, according to him, and probably was using that to get women.
Exactly.
And so he was still cheating and doing all these things. And so he was living vicariously through that experience and passing it on to his son. And now fast forward to his son who saw that and now is thinking,
he's picked up those traits. It's unfortunate, but you see it all the time.
In our community.
Yeah.
In our community. I was like, see, because we hear so many conversations of people saying like, women are the first to file for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
When 80% of women file for divorce, and da 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 da, and it'd be like, okay, but why did she file?
Exactly.
What happened to
What
make
did
her
you
file?
do?
Why
What
don't we
happened?
talk about what happened? Because
Exactly.
when I thought about it, I was like, okay, his mom and dad was married for 24 years. Daddy started cheating in year 7. Mommy knew daddy was cheating.
Of course.
And she still tried to stick it out for 24 years before she said enough. But all most people would say is she filed for divorce.
Yeah.
And it's like,
exactly. Right.
Look what he was doing. Like how much are you supposed to take in a marriage before you say enough?
And the thing is, it's like in those days and those times back then, you did stick it out, and you stuck it out for a whole lot of other reasons than what we do now. Now, the minute you see infidelity, you see abuse, you see whether it's physical, mental, whatever, we done. We throw in the towel. It's like, we're not doing that. And part of that is bad, but then part of it is, okay, this is not working.
Yeah.
And then you're saving the fact that your children are watching, like oh boy did, and you're creating a thing where you're saying, okay, look, I have to teach my children something and to not stick into something just because kids don't need to be brought up in a household where parents are not getting along just for the sake of the kids.
Yeah.
They just don't, because you're teaching them to deal with abuse. You're teaching them to deal with unhealthy
habits.
relationships. So yeah.
Yep.
So sad.
Very sad. So it was good. They had the reunion this week, and they asked them, are you guys together or not together? And she said, no, we're just flirty friends.
Oh.
But he said he owes her an apology, and that he wants to win her back. He wants, another shot, that he loves her. He feels she's the love of his life. He knew he messed up, and she was saying like, well, why didn't you marry me? Right. If you knew all of this, why didn't you marry me?
Did he say how he felt about seeing himself on air, like when it was being played, like when it came?
They didn't ask him. They didn't. They asked him how he felt about this previous couple in another season, because he gave that man compliments as a black man who married a black woman, and he said that he was kind of like a hero of his, or idol, because he saw how they did it, and they're still married. And so that gentleman was there with his wife, and he was like, thank you. They asked him if he was getting therapy. He said he's been getting therapy. He's been doing it for over a year. And he said when he said he was going to work through that, he really has. And she admitted that she went on some dates with another guy from the show.
Oh, wow.
But it was just a few. And she's kind of having her glow up moment. Like, she looks a lot better, because when they were filming, I will admit that there were some times where we'd be like, she wasn't her best, but she looks a lot better. She looks, and when you say beautiful.
That, what was wrong? The way she kept her upkeep, oh wow,
yeah.
I think they get distracted with the fact that there's that person can't see them.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
The camera can.
The camera can. Okay. Yeah, the camera can see everything. So
exactly.
It's like,
get yourself together.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like not dressing properly. See, I missed a few episodes of that.
I mean, so she has an amazing body, so she could pretty much
get away with it. Yeah,
whatever she wanted to wear. So but it was like she. I love me some good lashes, right?
Right.
She had the really...
Oh, I do remember her having that, yes.
The really big ones where it was like, okay.
Yeah.
It was just like some things, it's like if she took it off, she would be just perfect.
Okay,
yeah.
And some guys are turned off by that.
Agreed.
I agree.
They
really are.
I agree.
I hear it all the time.
Same.
Yeah.
And so, but she, in part, she looks... Now she looks beautiful.
Somebody must have gotten her.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of comments were,
or even seeing it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like sometimes when you look back at something, like even when we do this, I'm like,
oh, because that's how I feel about our first season. I'm
right. Like, oh my God. Yes.
Jeez.
Or even my conversation, it was like just still nervous and scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
it happens, and good that she's able to try to correct it and maybe not feel so bad about it. But I feel for her that way of dating, and even those other ones where they swap mates and all that kind of stuff. It's different, and
Yeah.
it does get airplay, and
Yeah.
but it's hard to do those type of
Would you ever
episodes.
consider?
Ugh. $8,000 is not enough money, but
It's not.
and then yeah, you meet someone, and what if it seems like it would be embarrassing? I don't know. It just puts a whole lot out there.
I couldn't do it. I could not. So I got to have the camera in my face 24/7.
Right.
All of our dates are filmed, our conversations. There's a possibility that I link up with someone and, accept their proposal.
Right.
2 weeks after that, we get married. So basically, we're doing all this within a 2-month window. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that. But people do, and some of them have made it work. Between Love is Blind and what's the other one?
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor.
That's a big one. They just
Married at First Sight.
Yeah, Married at First Sight.
Like some of them they make it work, and others be like, hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no. But I don't know.
Yeah.
So
very interesting.
Yeah.
I feel for her. Well, I would say this. Those type of shows are hard to do. It's entertaining and it's fun, but at the end of the day, there's still emotions and feelings involved, and you have to really, I guess in her case, even if you're on TV, if you identify some red flags, you need to press on, move on, because the very thing that you ignore or minimize or make light of will be the very thing at the end while you all break up. So pay attention to them red flags. That they real. They're there for a purpose to let you know, hey, either I'm gonna go dart this way, or some stuff is not worth sticking through. So identify them red flags. Yeah.
Yeah, my final thoughts would be, similar. When you see red flags, don't paint your nails red to match the flags.
Crazy.
Actually address them, and if it's too much, I would, go ahead and pull out. My opinion, that man told her from the very beginning all the way up to the wedding, he was not ready for marriage. He was not ready to commit. He had some trauma that had not been dealt with, that stemmed from his childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of things to me that would have been like, nope, don't do it. So in my opinion, when you say that, I feel like you should take a pause and allow that person to work through that before you add that extra pressure of like marriage. I don't think it's worth it. I understand that a lot of us have been groomed to want to get married. I get it. I do. And a lot of us have been programmed through social media that if you don't get married by a certain time, you're considered a failure, right? You haven't accomplished the main goal that you're supposed to be here for, supposedly. But that's not always the case, I would say do it for the right reasons, hopefully with the right person, as opposed to just rushing into something that you may later regret because they told you from day one that is not what you want. You're not ready. Don't allow your shallowness to cloud your judgment.
And here's the thing, just to add to that, we talk about on here all the time about communication, how it's key. And when you identify the red flag, you're on TV, might as well address it.
Yes.
Hey, so when you keep saying that, do you mean you're not ready for marriage? I mean, you're talking about getting married. So you don't want to skip over those red flags. You need to talk about it. If it's something you can work through, maybe. I doubt it. But if it is, okay. But if not, the man is telling you he's not ready.
Yeah.
And pay attention to that.
Yeah. So clearly love is not blind.
Not at all.
Not at all. Please like, share, subscribe to our channel. If you feel like we need to cover any other areas or there's something that we missed, feel free to comment and let us know. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching us. And we will be right back. We'll see you later. BGP, we're out. Bye.